If you don't understand your product, you're going to get crushed. You won't have a why. You won't have a reason to get up in the morning. You're going to end up getting beat by the Chinese. You're going to get crushed by the Amazon fees. It is very frustrating to sell on Amazon. There's a lot of native born Amazon brands that you've never heard of, that have never been in Walmart. They've never been in a retail store, but they get their start on Amazon. And it's a magical place because it's the greatest wealth transfer in my entire lifetime. In 6 weeks, you can launch a brand new brand and be hitting 40, 50, sometimes 100K a month in revenue. That's just been an addiction for me for the past 11 years.
So what's the key differentiator that you're able to actually not only get something on Amazon, but have something seen on Amazon that somebody's going to actually like and buy?
It's marketing. Anything that generates traffic and improves conversion rates. So under traffic, you've got CTR, click-through rate, which is the thing I'm talking incessantly about of late because I think it's the easiest. Pay-per-click advertising and search engine optimization. So those are the traffic generators. On the conversion side, you have design, merchandising, and catalog troubleshooting. I believe that if you stick to what you know, that you're going to do a lot better in life. I was a chess player, even a chess prodigy of sorts growing up. I have played at some of the highest levels of competition. If I were to sell chess sets on Amazon right now, I would have a huge advantage. I'm the guy who would understand why you would have a vinyl board, why you would have algebraic notation, why pieces that are triple weighted are more attractive to the consumer. I understand all this because I lived it. Now, if I were to go and try and sell some bamboo dental floss, the chances of me succeeding in that vertical are close to zero. Why? Because I'm not a dentist. I don't understand bamboo. I don't even know where you would source bamboo. I don't know anything about floss. If you don't understand your product, you're going to get crushed. You won't have a why. You won't have a reason to get up in the morning. You're going to end up getting beat by the Chinese. You're going to get crushed by the Amazon fees. It is very frustrating to sell on Amazon.
If it's so frustrating to do it, why should we do it?
Because it's worth it. There is no other platform in the entire world that you can launch a brand fully and see $40,000, $50,000 a month in sales by day 90. It may surprise you to know this, but 83% of US households are Prime members. That's an insane statistic. If you're in e-commerce and you're not on Amazon, you're irrelevant. It is the 800-pound gorilla. Is it fun to play with the 800-pound gorilla? No. Could he ragdoll you at any moment in time? Yes. Has it happened to me? You betcha. In fact, I lost $250,000 selling tumblers on Amazon because last Black Friday, they nuked my entire category. Not just me, but the whole category, just gone. They're like, no parody tumblers anymore on Amazon. You're out. Just Amazon one day said, F you, Stephen Poe. I decided to sell my brand over this. It was so frustrating for me. I was like, you know what? I make a couple $100,000 a year on my Amazon brand. In comparison to my agency that I'm making millions of dollars on, I had an offer and at the last second, my business partner bought it from me. My why at the time was I was making these brands to give to my kids, right? So I had Age of Sage, put my daughter on the main logo. Her name is Sage. She's 5 years old. And someday I was going to give it over to her, right? It was a very powerful why. But there's so many things I could give to my kids someday. I'll find something else. My business partner was so bought into my why. He's like, you know what? I'll buy it from you, but I will still get these to your kids someday. And I was like, are you serious? I can't believe you. But I needed to go focus on my agency and focus on other businesses because of it. And so it was the right decision for every party involved. I think that the absence of growth is death. In my personal life, that's why my why statement starts with leveling up. I love video games, by the way. I played all kinds of video games growing up. I was a World of Warcraft addict. South Park episode 101 right there. Dad would come in and see me playing World of Warcraft at all times and be like, dude, what's going to happen in your life? Are you sure it's going to be good? I'd be like, no, Dad, I promise you, this is going to help me in business someday. I'm learning how an economy works. I use technology to transfer funds through the auction house. Like I'm the #1 economy controller. This is way more educational than college. College, in fact, taught me nothing. At the time, my dad's like, yeah, okay, son, sure. Fast forward 15 years and he's like, I get it now. Like he's like, I get it now. I can see things into the future that nobody else can see. And the problem is that I have to somehow convince people to follow my vision. Here's what I see. You can see it too. And most people still don't see it, but they buy in at some point or they see some success and they tag along or they coattail.
What type of habits are you doing on a consistent basis so you are bringing your best every single day?
I think a lot of people get lost in they're like, oh, I got to focus on one thing at a time. And there's some truth to the fact you can't multitask, but I still believe you can have it all. I have 5 kids, 8 and under. I have a beautiful family, a beautiful house, a beautiful business. I'm spiritual and go to church on Sundays. I'm physically active. I do think it's possible to have it all. I think it's possible to be prosperous in all ways. Does that mean they're all equally balanced? No, not necessarily. And as long as they're always leveling up, I feel like that's prosperity. They're always growing.
Not every person is able to do what you just described. Have the freedom. How are you measuring success in your personal life?
Constantly always leveling everything up. And as I look at the books behind you and some of the things that have probably affected you, at the top left, you have extreme ownership. That's literally a manager value at my company. I make sure that people are always taking ownership of what they work around me. And that's because I've lived extreme ownership my whole life. It's what's brought me success. In the top right, you got from good to great. BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. One of the biggest goals that I ever did as a business was hire 100 interns in 30 days. I look forward to that kind of prosperous growth in every element. So I'm always pushing my kids to do things that are hard, pushing my wife to do things that are hard. She's a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids. That's hard enough alone, let's be fair. But I also am like, hey, honey, did you do all these hard things that need to get done and personally develop? I measure my success by their success as well today. The action dictates the strategy. There's no point to having a plan if you don't execute.
That's right.
It's completely useless.
That's right. Yeah.